Welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by Grounded Coffee Bar. You know, it's a new year here, and to kick things off, I'm joined by men's soccer coach Cris Trillo. Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Seems like time flies.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, we're back.
You know, we're recording this pretty early. It's July, 23rd that we're recording this.
Yep.
But this episode will not come out until, I think, August 7th or something like that.
Okay.
So, at the moment, season hasn't really started for you guys. No practices yet. A couple scrimmages, meetups, whatever. But, you know, you're not in preseason mode just yet.
Yeah. Started August 3rd.
Yeah. Well, we're going to dive in. We're going to preview this upcoming season.
Okay.
But before that, we have to remind everyone that we are sponsored by Grounded Coffee Bar.
Everyone, it's a great day to get grounded. With locations in New Lenox and Frankfort, it's always a good time to stop by and try our seasonal drinks. Whether that's cherry as summer comes to an end or pumpkin as fall begins. We've also updated our hours to better serve you. We're open late on Fridays and Saturdays now until 9 p.m. Make sure you're following our socials. That's Instagram and Facebook for the latest updates on our specials and events so you don't miss out. Grounded Coffee Bar is a proud sponsor of Coffee with the Wolves and JJC Athletics.
All right. Well, you know, we're back here at Grounded Coffee Bar in New Lenox. Chris, I know you've come out here a couple times with me last year. You know, you just rushed in because you're late.
Already busy, you know, trying to take care of things.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So hopefully before you leave, you can grab yourself some coffee. It sounds like you need it.
Perfect.
But yeah, we're here to talk the season. You know, things kick off here pretty soon. Your first official game is Saturday, August 22nd against Illinois Valley.
Yep, that's correct.
But before we get into that, I want to ask you just about the World Cup. I know at this point, by the time this comes out, it's like been finished for weeks at this point, but Spain won. How do you feel?
Well, you know, being from Spain, I feel so proud, you know, that my country got to win another World Cup. And I think that's also inspiring, you know, younger generations in Spain who never saw that. The last time was 2010. And also across the world, because they see a national team with teenagers, with 19-year-old, you know, defenders and forwards, and that, I think that's inspirational. You know, that could be in college.
Yeah, I know when the World Cup was in the the group stage portion, we were over. Me and my family were in Ireland, and we were watching. I know Mara's off screen over there, but we were in a restaurant, and she's watching on the screen. You know, she likes soccer. She hates soccer at her age. She hates all the children all chasing the ball. She's like, I want it to be like that. I think she really wants to play goalie.
Why not?
But, you know, Spain won the World Cup.
Yes.
And now it's your turn to come out and try to, you know, not just get back to the national tournament, but win the national championship.
Yes, I mean, you know, when you achieve, you know, a high goal, of course you want to do better than the last time, you know, and I think we've been going in stages, you know. 2 years ago went to the national, last year went to national, you know, 2 years ago 5th place, last year 8th place. But yes, I would love to be at least higher than 5th now. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah. You know, and obviously you're taking steps to try and get to that point, but a lot of unknowns can happen during the course of a season. You know, but how are you preparing to kind of, you know, not just finish 5th place or 8th place again, but, you know, maybe make it to that championship game?
You know, the key is get the right group of players, you know, with skills, you know, talent, dedication, and humility. You have to build a team that plays as a team, and when you have that and people support each other, you know, they leave their egos aside. That's what takes you to the next step. And I feel like, you know, I'm working on that aspect, because that can make a big difference, you know, when you're at that stage, you know, at the nationals.
And you know, you've got a whole bunch of players coming in. You're the guy I know at the golf outing a couple weeks ago. You were asked on the radio, you know, international students. You're the guy bringing all the internationals in. line. I don't think a lot of our other teams have many, if any at all.
Yeah.
You've got
Nine coming this year and 3 returning. So I will have the most I've ever had.
Yeah.
Would be 12 out of 22.
It's crazy. I was going to say a dozen. I didn't even know, but
Yes,
it's a dozen.
It's exactly a dozen.
You know, what's it like for you as a coach? I guess let's talk about the recruiting process first for those international students versus the local kids, because I know we got Dane coming up here on the show, freshman from Coal City. He, you know, in full disclosure, we recorded with Dane before Coach, even though usually we do it the other way. But,
Sure.
you know, in that conversation, we talked about his own journey. It's very different from your international students. How does the recruiting process kind of work for those international kids, and then what's the difference when it comes to recruiting local?
Right. For the internationals, it's a little harder because I have to go through agencies that try to place them in U.S. colleges, and they send me videos, highlights. You know, I can request full matches, so I have to watch constantly, you know, all these players, and then try to find the kids that fit in the team, that have the budget to, you know, for the high cost of coming to the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's a very different aspect. I don't get to see them in front of me.
Right.
For the locals, it's different. For the locals, I can go to ID camps. You know, they have for seniors, you know, high school seniors. And then once they either they contact me and they show interest in JJC, or I know of a player, sometimes by references, I know a lot of coaches that say, hey, take a look at this kid, he's interested in JJC. Then I can bring him in, and they can come for a couple of days for practice with the team as a tryout, and I can see really their skill level. Plus, I also follow them going during the season, even though it's fall season, we play too, try to catch some of their games as well.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I focus on some of the locals.
And then kind of on that same topic, but how do you kind of work on building chemistry between kind of the two subsects of your team? Because, you know, language barriers, cultural barriers, you know, I think in the past we've talked about the international students, even if they're not all from the same country, like you could have a German athlete and a Spanish athlete, but they're going to flock together because they're both,
They do.
you know.
They live in the same area.
Yeah.
You know, they both feel like, outsiders. So definitely, I could see that every year. You know, I see the locals, even at practice. They get together for certain things, the other ones. My goal is always to try to mix them up in activities. One day, actually, in the bus, going to Madison, it's a 3-hour ride, and I actually distributed them on the bus. And I said, you go sit with him, you know. And then they were all like, what? I'm like, yeah. Catch up, ask questions, find out more about your teammates. You know, it breaks a barrier, and that helps. You know, I also take them to the Warren Dunes for a day training, which is to me like more team bonding, and also they get to interact with everybody. You know, so I want them to feel like, you know, it's a family. It's not just us and this little group. At first, I see that because they retreat to their own, even kids from their own high school. You know.
And your job, not as a coach, not just to get them ready on the field, but hey, come out of your shells. You're here.
Oh, definitely. I want them to, you know, know after 1 week. I'm like, you better name everybody on this team. That's you know, important.
Now let's talk about some of your returners this year. I don't know what your roster looks like at the moment, but
I have 4 returners.
Yeah, just bring them up and what kind of expectations you're expecting from them and their role this season.
Well, I have 3 actually internationals, you know, 3 from Spain returning, and one kid from Bolingbroke returning. And I expect always from returners to kind of lead a bit. You know, they know expectations. They know me very well. They know how to handle, you know, practices, you know, game scenarios, and I want them to kind of lead that way. You know, because usually, I mean, 99% of the time, I have to choose a captain who's a returner, right? And that's what I expect from them, you know. So, but everybody has a different personality. Like Dario, he's one of my goalkeepers. You know, very nice kid, very soft-spoken kid. You know, extremely friendly. You know, but but he's very intense at practice.
Yeah,
It's good. And then so is Pablo, and Guti, the other two kids from Spain. Good players, played, they were starters last year, so I expect them to play a very big role in this team. And so is Jared from Bolingbrook. He played most minutes on the left back, and I think he's grown a lot as well. And I expect him to also, bring that extra experience to the team.
Yeah. With so many new faces on the team this year, how do you kind of figure out the best, I guess, kind of place for each player? Of course, I'm sure some are coming in with like roles like that they've played forever, and you're just going to slot them into that role. But maybe it's you're behind this person, or maybe you're kind of in the same role, but over here instead.
Correct. To me, the first month or so is really to analyze every player that comes in. You don't know enough until you have them with you, and they practice day and a day, and then we play those 3 scrimmages that we have are very important because that's where you see how they compete, and then we start seeing, okay, these are the pieces, this is where you go, and people will have to understand kind of role. I expect a lot of competition for minutes in the team.
Yeah.
And that's going to be good because everybody's going to be like, oh, I got to really push myself every practice and every game. And I think that's healthy, instead of having just a 12, 13 that always play, always start.
Yeah.
And then the rest is like, no.
Yeah.
I think, really, I firmly believe that there's going to be a lot of competition because I think there's going to be good level. In my opinion, almost better than last year, so I will have to confirm after a little bit of time.
Now, I know your schedule's set for the year. I know you emailed the other day about something schedule related, but looking at the schedule, what are some teams coming up that you've kind of got circled, like, okay, this is a good test to see where we're at when it comes time for the postseason?
Sure. Well, this is the reality. We are only 2 Division III this year. The Wisconsin from Rock County dropped out.
Yep.
So and College of DuPage now is D3. So it's basically at the playoff. It's either College of DuPage or us going to the Midwest, championship. So obviously that's a big one. We have to make sure that we're better than COD. But we play all the other schools, the D2s, and those are good way to rate our level.
Yeah.
I'd say Triton, Morton, Rock Valley. Those probably are the top 3, and Madison.
Yeah,
I forgot Madison. Those 4 are really to see our capabilities.
Expectations for the year. We know where you want to finish. We know what the end goal is. Winning a national championship.
Sure.
But the route to get there. What are your expectations? What are you hoping to see out of this team, early and then late?
Well, I expect the team to grow bit by bit, okay? Because we only have a few months to really form a team. And again, with 4 returners, this is a brand new team. That's always the task. If we do well, we're going to see that throughout the season, right? And then I believe that if we do really well, I think we have a chance to go all the way to national, because if we win our region with COD, we then have the Ohio winner and the Minnesota region winner.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that we're capable. If we do really well in our region, we should go all the way to national.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be 3 years in a row if you make the tournament.
That would be wonderful.
I don't, judging by what I've seen the last few years, my time here at JJC, JJC, no reason to doubt you can't, make it. But again, a lot of unknowns.
Right. It's one game.
Yeah.
We play the season in one game against COD, and after that is one game, But, we're hopeful that we can do it.
Well, Cris, I appreciate you taking the time. We're going to let you get back to the busy day. It seems like
okay.
you need a break and a coffee.
Sure.
But yeah, next up here on Coffee with the Wolves, we've got Dane from Coal City coming up, freshman midfielder, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to have that conversation coming up here next. But again, Cris, thanks and good luck this season. And of course, we'll have you on again, probably in September.
Okay. Thank you so much, David.
And next up here on Coffee with the Wolves, I'm joined by freshman men's soccer athlete Dane, and again, not saying your last name.
Noffsinger, Dane Noffsinger.
We're here to, kind of preview the upcoming season. We're recording this, last full week of July, so we're a little bit early. You don't start practice until August 3rd. This is coming out, after you guys start practice.
Yes.
But, what's it been like, just kind of making this transition to college? You've been playing since you were young, and now you're here at JJC.
It's a blessing. I've always wanted to play college soccer throughout the past 4 years in high school. It's been a goal of mine, and I'm blessed with the opportunity to play college soccer. The transition has been pretty smooth, I'd say. I have all my classes scheduled figured out. I'm in the honors program, so that helps a lot with costs and actually challenging myself academically. And then I would say the transition's been good. I love all the players. I love the coach. I love the structure of the program. I love the direction it's heading in, and I can't wait to start.
What kind of went into your decision to come to JJC? And, again, what has your soccer journey just been like?
So I have a lot of reasons why I chose JJC. Obviously, finance is one of them, but more than just that, I got into the honors program, which is free tuition. Additionally, I really like the coach and the players. I love the facility. I love being close to home next to my parents and my friends and just the rest of my family as a whole. I really like having the opportunity to represent my locality, I guess, like Coal City. That's where I'm from. And I would say my soccer journey personally, I've been 2 times all sectional, 3 times all conference, and like I said, I've always wanted to play college soccer. We kind of turned the program around my high school year. Sophomore year, we were 5-13-1. We were pretty bad. And then this year we went to state. We had a record of 24-4-1 this year. Never thought that'd be possible, and I'm just so grateful for all my teammates and the recovery, I guess, we had.
Yeah, you're stepping into an NJCAA Division III program that has made the national tournament the last couple of years. So, hoping to continue that success you had in high school, right?
Yes, I really hope that we can win nationals this year. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Now, I should have asked this, but what position do you play out there?
I typically play around the midfield area. I specialize, I'd say, in center attacking mid or cam, but I can really play left mid, right mid. I can play anywhere in the mid, or I can play forward. I just typically play mid.
Yeah. And what drew you to the JJC soccer program itself? I mean, we can talk, on the college side, you've got the the financial aspect, the local, being close to home. There's that aspect, but specifically soccer. What did you like about what Coach Cris was kind of, his recruiting pitch to you?
Well, I'd say the biggest reason why I came to JC is I remember vividly, me and 4 of my other friends, we went to a JJC versus IVCC game, and we talked to both the coaches afterwards, because this was before I was committed to JJC in the fall, and he said something about the players being there being more than just a number, like other larger D3 schools or just any other school, and I think that held really close to me, because I want to be valued more as a number. I want to be a player on the team that's gonna shine as a person and as a player, hopefully. And so I think that was the biggest pull for me personally.
Yeah. Now, it's funny because we did a recording before this, so I'm kind of flipping it around, but I want to talk a little bit about Coach Trillo and his recruiting of international students.
Yes.
Because I don't know how many he's got on the team this year, but he spends a lot of time in recruiting international students as well as the local student athletes. What's it been like in your minimal kind of interactions, meeting the team, building chemistry, getting along, and kind of battling, language barriers, cultural differences?
I would say it's slightly more complicated. They like to speak Spanish to each other a lot.
Yeah.
So that kind of like, when the minute they start speaking Spanish, I don't know Spanish obviously that well. I mean, I was an AP Spanish, but I don't know it that well. I'm not fluent with it, so I don't know what they're saying at all. So I have to turn to my English teammates and talk to them. But I mean, when they're talking to me, it's all fine. We get along very well. So.
And I know in our test recording, we talked about kind of the differences between your journey and, knowing a little bit about their journeys. What have you learned from them, just about their soccer lives?
Well, they all, like I said, they all had a different path. I would say I've learned that, I guess they had more they had to go through for a lot of them. Like, they've been playing soccer. Like, soccer is all they do, a lot of them. And they've been going on, pro trials or playing for these amazing teams. And I'd say this is kind of different from, the States, just because I feel like there's a bigger gap between, the skill level and the number of people that are willing to actually play soccer, whereas in other countries, it's more popular by a long shot.
Yeah. And you mentioned IVCC in there. I believe that's your first legitimate game of the season, right? Saturday on August 22nd?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. With the story you had shared, does that feel like an important game for you? Obviously, it's your first proper college game, but
I would say, like you said, I think it is important to me because it is my first college game. But more than that, I think it's kind of showing, I don't know, kind of what IVCC was missing out on, if that makes sense, or just wanting to prove myself to IVCC. Sure, I'm going to JJC, but know that I chose JJC because I felt more connected to it rather than IVCC, and I just want to prove myself to their coach as well.
Yeah. And I don't think we really talked about it, but your major, your declared major so far
is finance. Yes.
And obviously, I don't know if you've started classes yet. Sometimes you could have started in the summer. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in 2 summer classes right now. I'm taking Art 109 and Econ 103.
Yeah. How are you liking classes so far?
I really like them. I can't lie. There's a lot of work for them. It takes a lot of time to be good in them, but I'm enjoying them. I'm on top of all my schoolwork for the most part, and I feel like overall, they're both online classes solely, so it's very easy to get my work done, and I can do it whenever I want, which is very good for me.
Well, good luck. When the semester starts, balancing classwork and practices, game days, travel.
Yeah, well, I typically stay pretty busy, so hopefully I should be able to stay on top of it all. But it's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah, you said you also help coach. Kids my daughter's age, a little older.
Yeah, I referee youth soccer games, so I usually do those on the weekends. I do recreational and travel. That's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And then I also occasionally will help this local club I play for, Morris United. I will help them with their practices and tryouts.
Yeah. And specifically on your major, finance, why finance?
I really like working with numbers. I really enjoy working with money, learning how to budget. And I think if I could have a career as a financial advisor or something like that, where I can help not only people but also help people with their money, I think I'd really enjoy that.
Cool. I like to hear it. When I was your age, I did not have a plan. I kind of had an idea, and I went with the idea, but it took a couple years to properly form.
Yeah, that's how it is for me right now. Finance is my current plan, but I'm really open to whatever. It's all in God's hands. I'm just playing along and seeing what'll happen.
Well, Dane, I appreciate you taking the time to join me here for the first coffee with the Wolves of the 2026-27 year. Hopefully we'll get you on again, and either way, we'll be seeing you out there on the pitch, hopefully scoring goals and
hopefully,
taking JJC to that national championship.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and talking to me.
Yeah, and usually we end this with Wolf of the Week. It's kind of summertime. I don't know what we're doing for Wolf of the Week, but either way, we'll see you next week for more Coffee with the Wolves presented by Grounded Coffee Bar.